Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Storytime. My name is Toby, and I'm so glad that you're here joining me for stories today. We've got a couple of good ones. Well, let's jump right into it, and we'll say hello by doing bread and butter. You ready? Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as fast as we can. Hello. Wow, that was really fast. Good job. Ready? Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as slow as we can. Hello. Good job, that was good. Ready? Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as high as we can. Hello. Good job. All right, the opposite of high is low. So we're going to say hello, low. Ready? Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as low as we can. Hello. Good job. Ready? Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as loud as we can. Hello! Good job. All right, we're going to do the next one soft, but we'll do the whole thing soft. Ready? Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as soft as we can. Good job, everybody. Can I see your hands? Open them, shut them, open them, shut them. Give a little clap, clap, clap. Open them, shut them, open them, shut them. Lay them on your lap, lap, lap. Creep them, creepy, creepy, creep them right up to your chin, chin, chin. Open wide your little mouth, but do not let them in. Shake them, shake them, shake them, shake them, just like this. Roll them, roll them, roll them, roll them. Blow a little kiss. Mwah! Very good. All right. So I have my alphabet up here today. And if we look closely, we're missing one letter. I wonder which one it could be. H-I-J-K-L. 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 Oh, M. L-M-N-O-B-M. Today's letter is M, and there's lots of good words that start with M. And one of my favorites is today's theme, monsters. But don't worry, we have silly monsters all the way through. So, now that we have our letters up, why don't we play sing the alphabet together. You ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Good job, everybody. All right, before we get started, let's do our stretch. Ready? We're going to do a big stretch out wide. Big stretch up tall. Give yourself a hug. Why don't you tap your nose? Tap your knee. Pull on your ears. One more big stretch out wide. Big stretch out tall. And a deep breath. All right, so we are going to get started. I'm going to read you a book that I just found, and I really, really like it. It is one of my new favorites. Let's see. This one is called Alphonse, There's Mud on the Ceiling. And there's Alphonse and Natalie. They're two monsters. Alphonse, There's Mud on the Ceiling by Daisy Hurst. Natalie and Alphonse lived in an apartment. They had a bunk bed bus to drive, and the big green chair to be quiet behind, or leap out from roaring, roar, roar. There were sunflowers to water on the balcony, almost enough space for tumbling in the hall, and a closet that seemed to click and roar. It could be lions, or the vacuum, or bears. Then Dad got the vacuum out, and Alphonse discovered a wild beast's cave with sleeping bags. It doesn't look very wild, said Natalie. I'll fetch some jungle, said Alphonse. You look like a caterpillar, said Alphonse. You look like a wiggly worm, said Natalie. Let's go out wriggling. So they wriggled, and wiggled, and squiggled, and squoze. Hey, said Dad, my coffee! Slop! Oh, no. Ow, Alphonse, you're standing on me, said Natalie, and there's mud on the ceiling. I'm not standing, said Alphonse. Oh, my sunflower. Alphonse cried until his ears hurt. Dad said, Natalie Alphonse, that's not good. Natalie Alphonse, that is not a good game for indoors. Natalie said, but we only have indoors. Elfrida has a wild jungle backyard with a tent in it. She's going to really sleep in the tent. Why can't we have a tent in the yard? Well, said Dad, because we live on the 7th floor. I'm going to live in the park, said Natalie. Good idea, said Dad. Let's have an expedition. Fine, said Natalie, but I'm going on my own. At the park, Natalie went exploring. She found a bush with a hole in it and crept inside. Inside the bush, Natalie found a stick, a snail, shell, and a squirrel. She said, I will call you Squilliam. Then Natalie and Squilliam heard rustling. Who goes there? Blackberries, said Alphonse. Let's live in here, said Natalie, and eat blackberries, said Alphonse. Or you could come home and eat sausages and blackberries, said Dad. On the balcony, said Natalie. Okay, said Dad, but what do you need all those sticks for? I need sticks too, said Alphonse. At home, Natalie and Alphonse made a tent on the balcony with the sticks, a blanket, and string. They ate their dinner in the jungle. Then Alphonse taught Natalie the frog song with actions. "Mom," said Alphonse, "can we sleep out here, really?" "Please," said Natalie. "Well, you can have 5 more minutes," said Mom. Natalie and Alphonse got into the tent for 5 minutes. Natalie counted 3 stars, 2 pigeons, and 1 wild Alphonse. And then 1 wild Natalie was really sleeping in a tent in a jungle on the 7th floor. The end. I like that book. They did a good job making themselves a jungle there on the balcony. Very good. All right, we can stand up. We'll do a song. Ready? I like this one. Ready? Last night and the night before, a lemon and a pickle came knocking at my door. I ran downstairs to let them in, and they threw me in the garbage bin. What? Last night and the night before, a chocolate chip came knocking at my door. I ran downstairs to let it in, and he threw me in the cookie tin. What? Last night and the night before, a big green monster came knocking at my door. I didn't go down to let him in. I fell asleep with a great big grin. All right. We'll do another story, but first let's do this. Can I see your hands? Ready? I have 10 fingers. They all belong to me. I can make them do things. Do you want to see? I can make them jump high. I can make them jump low. I can fold them tight and hold them just so. I can squeeze them tight. I can open them wide. I can wave them all around. I can make them all hide. I can make them jump high. I can make them jump low. I can fold them tight and hold them just so. All right, I'm really excited for this next one. It's one of my favorite stories ever, and it's a great monster story. I'm just going to move my letters here. This one is called Monster Chefs. Once upon a time, there was a monster. But he was no ordinary monster. He was the King Monster. And every day, the King Monster ate for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All he ever ate was eyeballs and ketchup. Ew. But just like we probably would get tired, he got tired of eating eyeballs and ketchup every day for every meal. So one day he called in his 4 monster chefs. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he said, "Monster chefs, I am tired of eating eyeballs and ketchup. I need you to find me something new to eat. And if you do not, then I will eat you." So, the monster chefs all set off in different directions to find something new for the king to eat. The first monster chef went as far to the north as he could until he was standing in a large snowy field. He was looking around when he heard some rustling by his feet. He reached down into the snow and pulled out a bunny rabbit. He said, You look like good enough for me to take back to the kingdom and cook up and serve to the king." But the bunny was very smart. The bunny said, "Oh no, you wouldn't want to feed me to your king. Don't you know that when you eat a bunny, you turn into a bunny?" And the monster chef thought for a minute. He thought, well, my king doesn't like anything that's soft and cuddly, so I don't know. I don't think he'd want to turn into a bunny. Huh, you better just run along there. So the monster chef let the bunny go. The next monster chef went as far as she could to the south until she was standing in a great big ocean. There was sun and palm trees, and as she was standing there, something started moving around her feet. She reached down into the water and pulled out a fish. She said, "Oi, I think I'll take you back to the kingdom and cook you up and serve you to the king. He'll love to eat you." But the fish, just like the bunny, was really smart. And the fish said, "Oh no, I'm sorry. You wouldn't want to feed me to your king. Don't you know that if you eat a fish, you turn into a fish?" The monster chef thought for a second and said, "Well, the king doesn't really like water at all. He hardly even ever takes a bath. I don't think he'd like being a fish. You better go on home now, fish." So the monster chef let the fish go. The third chef went as far as he could to the west until he was standing in a great big desert full of sand. And as he was standing there, something started running around his feet. He reached down into the sand and pulled up a snake. You look like something I could feed to the king there. I think I'm going to take you back to the kingdom and feed you to the king," said the chef. And the snake, who was smart like the bunny and the fish, said, "See, I don't think you'd want to take me back and feed you to the king. Don't you know that if you eat a snake, you turn into sand?" The monster chef thought for a second. "No, I don't think the king wants to turn into sand. He hates sand. It's coarse and irritating and it gets everywhere. What am I going to do? I better let you go, snake." So the chef let the snake go. Well, later that day, all of the chefs met back in the king's throne room. And he said, "It looks like you didn't bring me anything to eat. So why don't you slather yourselves in ketchup, 'cause I'm gonna eat you." When all of a sudden, the fourth monster chef came running into the throne room and said, "No, no, 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 wait, don't eat them. I've brought you something." And the monster chef produced a little woman. The king monster said, "Oh, I don't know, I've never eaten a lady before, but I guess I'll give it a try." And then the monster chef said, "No, no, 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 no. Don't eat the woman. She is a chef herself, and she makes delicious cupcakes." The king monster was skeptical, but he said, "Okay, I'll try that cupcake." And he gobbled the whole thing down. And all of a sudden, his frown turned upside down because that cupcake was the most delicious thing he had ever eaten in his entire life. He was so happy. And from that day on, the king had cupcakes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But sometimes he put an eyeball on top. The end. Good listening, everybody. That's a long story. I'm glad. I hope you liked it. That's one of my favorites. Monster Chefs. All right. You guys ready? We'll do another song. A lot of you know the pirate song. Ready? When I was one, I sucked my thumb on the day I went to sea. I jumped on board a pirate ship, and the captain said to me, "Oh, you go this way, that way, forwards, backwards, over the deep blue sea." When I was 2, I tied my shoe on the day I went to sea. I jumped on board a pirate ship, and the captain said to me, "Oh, you go this way, that way, forwards, backwards, over the deep blue sea." When I was 3, I tapped my knee on the day I went to sea. I jumped on board a pirate ship, and the captain said to me, "Oh, you go this way, that way, forwards, backwards, over the deep blue sea." When I was 4, I shut the door on the day I went to sea. I jumped on board a pirate ship, and the captain said to me, "Oh, you go this way, that way, forwards, backwards, over the deep blue sea." When I was 5, I danced and jived on the day I went to sea. I jumped on board a pirate ship, and the captain said to me, "Oh, you go this way, that way, forwards, backwards, over the deep blue sea." Good job, everybody. All right. I have one more story today. It's not really a story though. It's I like to count a lot, and so this is one of my favorite counting ones. Get it set up real quick here. What does this look like? Does it look like a big brick wall? Maybe the one on the outside of Natalie and Alphonse's apartment. Very big brick wall. All right, and on our wall we have, guess what? Monsters. Ready to count them? 1. Put them down here. See them a little better. 2. 3. 4. 5. All right. And the rhyme goes like this. Ready? 5 green monsters standing on the wall. 5 green monsters standing on the wall. If one green monster should accidentally fall, woo! There'd be 4 green monsters standing on the wall. 4 green monsters standing on the wall. 4 green monsters standing on the wall. If one green monster should accidentally fall, woo! There is, how many? 3 green monsters standing on the wall. 3 green monsters standing on the wall. 3 green monsters standing on the wall. If one green monster should accidentally fall, there'd be... Woo! How many? After 3 is 2 green monsters standing on the wall. 2 green monsters standing on the wall. 2 green monsters standing on the wall. If one green monster should accidentally fall, how many? After 2 is 1. There'd be 1 green monster standing on the wall. 1 green monster standing on the wall. 1 green monster standing on the wall. And if that green monster should accidentally fall, how many after 1? 0. There'd be 0 green monsters standing on the wall. Good job, everybody. I like that one. Those monsters are really cute. All right. Well, that is all I have for us today on Storytime. We can go ahead and stand up for our last dance. Are you guys ready? It's dance any way you want to. Ready? Dance any way you want to. Dance any way you please. Dance any way you want to. Stop when I say freeze. Is everybody frozen out there? I'll take your word for it. Okay, let's twist like this. Twist any way you want to. Twist any way you please. Twist any way you want to. Stop when I say freeze. Good job. I think everyone's frozen. Well, let's see. Why don't we wiggle? Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Like Alphonse and Natalie did. They wriggled like worms all over the apartment. Ready? Wiggle any way you want to. Wiggle any way you please. Wiggle any way you want to. Stop when I say freeze. Good job, everybody. All right. We can do one more. Let's swim. Let's swim a little bit. Ready? Swim any way you want to. Swim any way you please. Swim any way you want to. Stop when I say freeze. All right. Let's dance one last time. Ready? Dance any way you want to. Dance any way you please. Dance any way you want to. Stop when I say freeze. Good job, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me today on Storytime. I hope you had fun with these monster stories. See you next time.